What's up, Max? What's up, Max? How we doing, buddy? Glad to see you here.
Oh, Max in the stream? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've got our cameras pulled up and we're unmuted. We're just waiting on Eric. Ooh. Oh yeah, did you have to work today too, or was it just like a Saturday deal? Still have stuff happening today, but I'm letting my leadership take care of it today. There you go. There you
That's
go.
right.
That's the beauty of delegation, my friend. I just don't get what you Beach Boys have got going on a weekend, man. You guys are got an inspection coming up or something? Workups? Ah, okay. Last minute support for a different command. Hey, one team, one fight, brother. So, were you able to throw something together for this, Nick?
hmm
Since you had to completely change up your plan?
It's okay. I had an idea for what I wanted to do. I just needed a little time to set it up. They needed me to go to work today. So, fuck, man, that really is kind of cutting into my time. So when you said you wanted to start late, I'm like, fuck yeah, bonus. And you're like, no, they left. I'm like, shit, okay, time to hurry again. And Eric's like, shit, I'm still at the dog park. I'm like, yeah, here we go. So I'm pretty much ready now. What I like about this game is how freeform it is, and we keep it kind of short. I really don't have to do a lot of hard prep. It's really just a lot of thinking about things and thinking about how I want things to go and what I want to do. And then
Yeah,
yeah, I
this is
threw
going to be
together
interesting
a
because
few
me
quick
and
things.
Eric haven't really discussed how we met. We don't know.
I have an idea of what's going to happen, but that's another thing I like to do with this game. Again, given the free form nature and there's not really a lot of established lore, we can just do it on the fly. And I kind of like to do that in a game where it makes sense to do it. And I think this is a game where it makes sense to do it. So on the fly, we'll come up with a couple of things that happen during that time. But ultimately, I have the idea for what's going to happen. Um, you'll see, obviously, as the session goes on. Because I got to double check what Eric's background was. I'm pretty sure he was an outlaw. I could be wrong on that, though.
Yeah, because mine is killer, so he must be an outlaw.
It's either him or Jacob or Jay. That's the outlaw. I don't remember.
I can't believe it's Sunday and the weekend's almost over already.
I know I'm sitting here like, what weekend?
Exactly.
It's the summertime, man. The days and the weeks just fucking roll in the summertime. I keep thinking like, oh man, at the end of July we're going to Costa Rica. Like it seems like it's far away, and it's like, man, fucking shit's gonna be here before we know it.
We haven't even decided where we want to go for vacation yet. I tried to talk her into going down to Florida, but she just refuses to get on a plane, and I'm not driving 14 hours. It's not happening.
Oh shit. See, I'm the driver. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'll drive. I think too, the last time I flew on a plane, I just really didn't like it. I had a way more averse reaction to it than I thought I would. I didn't freak out or anything. I just was like not thrilled with the whole process. And it starts with, the whole airport scene and everything, but even like the last time we like the takeoff and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I don't like this. This is not cool.
I've flown so much that it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, the airport stuff and security and waiting in lines is annoying. But
I really don't fly that
I
often.
really like that I can be from Columbus to Orlando in 2.5 hours.
Oh hell yeah.
Because last year we went to Virginia and we drove, but even that 7 hours is just too much, especially with kids and the wife complaining the whole time.
What are you talking about? That never happens.
Right.
Must be your imagination.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do Cedar Point this year. That's always a good time.
Yeah, I've never been. Heard it's really fun.
If you're a roller coaster person, yeah, it's really fun. I'm not a roller coaster person, but kids are. When I was a teenager, I was about it, but not anymore.
Hmm. I can't handle the G forces and stuff anymore. I'd like to think I can, but not quite.
Cable. Dang boy. Well, come on, Eric. My son is running around like a crazy person.
There may not even be a combat this session. All really depends.
Right? There may not even be a session. Eric doesn't hurry up.
True. The next one that you guys are all in together, there's definitely going to be some combat. That one I'm really looking forward to because you guys are going to be back on the path of the beam.
I do really like the no initiative kind of combat.
Yeah, and the rules are simple. It's just like basically these are gunslingers. Unless there's like some crazy reason why they were totally surprised, they go first. And it really encourages scene setting too. Like, don't, again, unless an enemy is actually really well hidden, tell them that there's hidden enemies. Tell them, about all the dangers they're about to face. Because they're going to assess that. Like, the game really does try to encourage you to treat the players as, like, not like superheroes, but you guys are, like, better than humans when it comes to that type of stuff. Better than most humans, I should say. Etta! Cicada broods are finally starting to die out by us. But man, it's been a loud couple weeks.
Oh man, does Daisy eat them?
Loves them.
Oh yeah, my dog Zeus ate him until he got sick, and a brood emerged.
So, and I told you I was gonna put you on the spot for like a memory for this week, and I think I still am gonna kind of put you on the spot, but it's gonna be for something completely different. It'll be for a memory, but it'll be a memory for like the last thing you did before, you came through this portal. It's essentially going to be one of these things where like your character's not going to know what happened. You know what I mean? Like there's just going to
Right.
be something, and it's like holy shit, and then he's in midworld. Like I said, I'll leave it up to you because I don't know if he was, in the midst of storming the beaches at Normandy or if he was still in training camp and went into the outhouse to take a shit and never came back. Just that, you can fill that in. That'll be interesting to see what your vision of this event is. And I actually literally thought of both of those scenarios. I'm like, man, it'd be cool, like have him, he's storming the beach and like a fucking, some like missile or something goes off and like fucking blows him to smithereens, and he wakes up in midworld. And then I was like, well, Or it could be something as mundane as you're in training camp and, like I said, you go to take a shit and somehow you got pulled through.
So I already had that
And then
idea set up. I already know how Vicky came through the slip door, and it's
perfect. Oh, I can't wait to hear it. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna kind of do the same thing with Mike, where it's like, and I want to do kind of like a drawing of the three setup, where you're gonna spend a little time like stepping in as Mike to get him to where he needs to go to get through the door and stuff. But for you, it's gonna happen a little bit different, because you're the first. And I want to make it clear that Jacob doesn't draw you. He's there when it happens, but he didn't do it. Update. Logging in now. Okay, so like I stubbed my toe on the way
yeah, right.
and fell down some stairs. I'm gonna be there in another 20 minutes. Yo.
Well.
Well. That little pup started getting it, and I'm like, I lost track of time. I messed up.
It's all good, man.
It's okay. As Frankie said, maybe we're coming to find out our Sunday mornings aren't as available as we thought they were. I know at least that's happening to me. I keep getting called into work on Sunday.
Yeah. So can you hear me okay today?
Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
Cool. I messed with the settings a little bit. I don't like to do that. So where was the link for the? There we go. I got it.
Perfect.
Good. Or
Perfect.
will be. Oh, and we got a brain challenge. Select the highest. What the heck? There we go. Select the highest rolled dice. That was the interesting one. It was 14, by the way. That's not great.
You know that.
Okay, I'm on that, but we're all good.
I was just making sure the /roll commands work because I don't feel like digging into my dice today. So any rolls I'll be making in the chat on the VTT.
Sounds like a plan. All right, you guys ready to get started?
Lady. Yes, sir.
Sorry, what was that, Eric?
I said, yes, sir. Just call
Ready?
Frankie lazy.
Oh yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for We Deal in Lead on Mr. Slendy's Twitch channel. Appreciate you broadcasting this for us. We're going to take a little detour. We're missing a
I
player
don't know
today,
why
so
there's some
rather than
admins.
continue
You
with the
should
journey
check
from
into
where we
your.
left off last time, we're going to go back in time a little bit, and we're going to look at how the Order of the Fist may have first started. It's going to begin with Jakob Kruze. First thing I need to ask you, Eric, Jacob's background is an outlaw, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, he's been hired Been hired by a mysterious patron. Person just calls himself Smoke. You've worked for Smoke before and pays well, and he's very straightforward about his jobs. And he tells you that he needs you to track somebody. A man wearing a black duster with a hood who has fled in a southward direction into the ice-capped mountainous area. And it's up to Jacob to track him. You don't have to interact with him or engage him. Smoke just wants to know what he's doing. As you begin your southward travel, you find that it's not terribly difficult to track as this man has a posse with him. 3 other men that you haven't got a good look at. I'm going to drop some people on the map here. Far ahead of you, you can see tracks that lead through these columns, and it looks like there's a total of 4 people. As you see them marching ahead of you, let me get a heart check from you, please.
Okie dokie. And that's 2d6, correct? Or is that the d20? That's a d20.
This is a d20, and you're going to try to roll under your heart score, or equal to.
Okay, I rolled a 9. And my heart's 14.
Perfect. So as you take a close look at this group up ahead of you, you squint your eyes and peer through the wind. You see, as described, a man with a black duster and a black hood, his face barely perceptible underneath. And the others following him, there's something not right about them. Their skin almost has like a dull, almost gray hue to it. And there's not a lot of chatter amongst them, but when there is, something about the way their mouths moves. It's not robotic, but it just doesn't look human. The man in the black duster, he does appear to just be
Mutated
a
or
human man. These other ones, yeah, you're not sure. You've heard of mutants before, but you've always been told that mutants are like horribly disfigured to the point where they almost look like a mockery of or a joke of the people that they once were. These look like men, but it's almost like their faces are just not fitting right on their skulls. Like the skin is a little bit too bunched up and like they don't look old, but they look like they're old and wrinkled, even though they look like they're probably, middle-aged to younger men. As Jacob
yeah,
continues
I'm
his
just
pursuit, they eventually make their way in a northwestern fashion and continue off of this map. But change to another map. Okay, activate. Jacob, you continue following this group another hour, another 2 hours. At least you think it is. Time is funny in this realm. As you approach, you see them start to walk downward on a slope towards a cave opening. And you can't help but notice that this cave opening looks ominously like the maw of an unnatural creature, some kind of demon or something. It's hideous. As the black-clad man walks in, the other 3 stop and turn to look back up the ridge. Do you attempt to hide?
absolutely.
Okay. So Jacob quickly ducks behind this ridge of rocks here, and he waits while the three men look. They look at each other, look back up the ridge, and then one of them snaps his fingers, and the three of them begin to follow the mysteriously black-clad figure into the cave. Let me have Jacob make another heart check here, please.
Come
Ooh,
on,
86.
buddy.
Awesome. The feeling that you get from the entrance to this cave is purely evil and also a bit cosmic. Um, Heading this far south, the further south you head, it seems like the terrain and the lands change more than you thought that they would. You knew there were snow-capped mountains, but as you traverse further and further into these mountains, you're noticing strange landmarks like those columns that you pass by, such as this demonic-looking maw, and it gives you pause before you enter to ponder what could be inside. And we're going to pause with Jacob, and we're going to move over to Calder. Go ahead and set the scene for us, Frankie. What is Calder up to? What is he doing? My understanding that he is a World War II enlisted soldier.
So
Where is
that
he
that
on his
is
journey?
that is Mike's character.
Sorry, he is a Vietnam enlisted soldier. My
Yeah.
fault.
So
Wrong war.
currently, Calder is on patrol in some godforsaken jungle, and um, they come across what they think is an enemy rat's nest or tunnel. It's a Viet Cong tunnel, and Calder is kind of skinny and lithe, and so he's always getting voluntold to be the one to go and clear these tunnels as they come across.
Commanding officer gives Calder a pistol, a flashlight, and helps him take off whatever equipment that he has that would weigh him down. Says, "Get in there, Ashbourne, and clear them all out. You hear me?"
Yes, sir. And Calder actually takes off his fatigue top, goes down to nothing but his t-shirt, kicks off his boots, just get in the way. Head first. In.
Is Calder going to activate the flashlight, or is he going to keep it dark?
He activates it, but he's gonna point it down and only flash it up in bursts.
Okay. And on his elbows, he begins dragging himself forward through the tunnel. As he gets further in, the dank smell of feces and urine hits him. It's disgusting. He begins crawling further and is startled as a few rats scurry past him, clearly spooked by something further in. But Calder has no problem letting them scurry by him and having one less problem to deal with. As he continues to pull himself forward, he can hear something up ahead. Flashing the light, he just gets the glimpse of an enemy foot as it goes around a corner up ahead of him. Does Calder continue?
Oh, he grits his teeth, puts the pistol out in front of him, and crawls in a way so that the pistol is always pointed forward. First sign, pulling the trigger.
Okay. As he gets up to around the bend where the enemy was, he gets the distinct feeling that an ambush is waiting for him. He sets down the flashlight and gets himself ready. He yanks himself forward and fires once, then twice into the dark. He hears the grunt of an enemy soldier as he's hit by the fire. He quickly shines the flashlight and sees that he's got one enemy bleeding up ahead in the tunnel, with another scurrying forward. He figures he could probably climb around this fellow, but The other guy up ahead has turned another corner. Is he going to wait for this guy to die, finish him off, or continue crawling ahead?
Calder's pretty much sick of this shit, so as he crawls over the down soldier, he just buries his knife into his chest and uses that to kind of pull himself forward.
Act of savagery yet mercy at the same time. As Calder is trained to just kill any Vietnamese he sees at this point. He continues pulling himself forward. He gets to the next bend where the next enemy had founded. He steels himself for another ambush. Pulls himself forward, fires into the dark. This time, hears nothing. Flashes forward his flashlight and sees only a mote of gun smoke hanging in the air. As another 50 feet of dug tunnel starts to begin to slope slightly downward, turns to the left again. As he continues crawling forward, the stench of not just human feces and urine, but also rot and death becomes apparent. And he can't help but wonder how far this damn tunnel is going. And what waits at the end of it. Back to Jacob. You stare at the ominous, glowing maw of the cave in front of you, and it gives you pause. But eventually Jacob is able to muster his strength. And would you like to proceed forward?
I think I'll come up to the cave entrance and I'll look and listen to see if I can determine what's going on in there before I go in.
At first, Calder hears the shuffling feet and footfalls of the 4 men that went in front of him. And after a while, they fade. He soon starts to begin to hear at first humming that seems to grow into a slow but steady chant. The language is completely unfamiliar to him. He's heard low speech, he's heard high speech, he's even heard some languages from different universes, but whatever he's hearing right now, it sounds guttural and sharp and unlike anything he's heard a human voice make before.
Well, he makes a deep sigh and he's thinking to himself, Snoop did hire me for a job. I need to find out what these guys are doing. And he goes into the cave.
Okay. He walks through a very dark cave, no light that he can see. And as he gets closer and closer to this chamber that he's in now, he can see the faint glow of a few torches that are around this area. I didn't actually put any on the map, but there's just a few torches around.
Okay, so that's
What he sees is gigantic opening in the floor. Strangely, it looks like the opening is over maybe some type of cliff or something. He's not quite sure, but it looks like a very steep drop filled with mist and smoke toward the bottom. He sees the black-clad figure standing in front of this horned skull. It looks like he's reading off a small parchment as he faces towards the skull. The other two keep a lookout for him. As Jacob is creeping forward, let me get a dexterity roll from you, please.
ooh, that's a 20.
All right. As you come around this pillar, trying to be careful and keep your eye on the group up ahead, accidentally kick a rock that clicks off the stone wall once, twice, 3 times as it falls into the abyss. And the two men look over at Jacob and they grin hideously. They don't seem to do anything.
Jake's,
They just look at him. Go ahead, Eric.
Jake's just gonna freeze. Jake's just gonna freeze in spot. He's gonna whip his dagger out, and he's just gonna watch these guys. They're not shouting. They're not making any alarm. They're just watching us.
They're not. But Jacob's no fool, and he can hear from the south, behind him, one of these men. Seems as if he's trying to creep up behind Jacob. And he rounds the corner, sees Jacob looking back at him, and he flashes a toothy grin, although he appears to be missing many of his teeth. Jacob, you react first. What would you like to do?
A threat is a threat. I'm gonna walk up and stab this guy.
Okay, roll me damage on your knife.
That is a 6.
All right. He slashes deeply, and when you slash across his face, you see. Oh, thanks, babe. You see some of his skin low and droop, and it reveals almost like a goopy skeleton underneath. Okay, I'm gonna make a roll really quick here. Okay. After being slashed by Jacob, he holds his face and he looks back with a look that would say almost like, "How could you? Betrayal." And he slowly starts to back away from Jacob, his hand up to his face, his other hand stretched out in front of him, as if to say, "No, please. Mercy." What would Jacob like to do?
Huh. That's not what I expected. Jacob's gonna move away from me, but he's gonna kind of keep an eye on the three of them. He's gonna move a little closer to the other two.
This one,
So
realizing
he's
that
gonna go.
Jacob isn't going to come after him, goes into a full-born sprint and runs back out of the cave. The other two, seeing Jacob get closer, step to the side. You also see the black-clad figure turn around and begin walking toward the portal. When he sees Jacob, he comically smiles and waves at Jacob like a little kid would wave at their best friend that they see across at the other side of the park. Steps to the very edge of the portal. Kruze, have you come to witness what I am about to do?
What the hell are you doing? Jake's
Watch
gonna move over.
and learn. When he moves there, these two, we're just going to say that those arms that are reaching out, they reach over so they can run underneath. These two run right up to you, and they each grab an arm. They're just trying to hold you, and slow you down. What would Jacob like to do?
Um, Jake's gonna he's gonna kind of shake his arms. Get off me, you sons of bitches! What are you doing?
All right, roll me a strength check.
Can I Oh, that's a 3.
He rips his arms away from the two of them easily, and as soon as that happens, they both kind of back up, fearful of Jacob striking them. The man clad in black says the final words written on his parchment, crumples it, and tosses it over the edge. He turns to Jacob with a smile, pulls a dagger, and stabs it underneath his jaw, through the top of his skull, and throws himself back into the abyss. Frankie, are you available or you gotta make your phone call? It looks like he's just hanging up.
Yep, sorry about that. Wife called. I'm available now.
No problem at all. Did you happen to hear anything that just happened?
I heard bits of it, but it was hard to focus on both. I know the man in black just did something there. That's what I heard.
The most important thing, as Jacob was trying to get closer, he first beckoned to Jacob and said, "Are you here to witness what I'm about to do?" And then Jacob said, "What are you about to do?" And he said, "Watch and see." He finished what he was saying on the parchment, crumpled it up, tossed it over the edge. Then he pulled out a dagger and stabbed himself underneath his chin through the top of his skull and threw himself backwards into the portal. As
Oh,
soon as that happens, Jacob can see light and lightning flashing down beneath into this dark abyss. Okay,
damn.
back to Calder, who's pulling himself inch by inch into this rat tunnel. And now, as he's getting a little bit closer to the corner, he's starting to smell smoke, and he can see some flashes of light around the corner. What do you like to do?
He's a bit confused. This tunnel's already been longer than what he's used to. So I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's about to come up on maybe an underground hideout or something. So he's a little bit cautious, but he's gonna move forward.
Maybe it's torchlight. Maybe some of the smoke is a campfire that they're using. Instead, maybe he's coming up on a bigger group, a larger hideout. As he pulls himself around this corner and starts crawling towards the smoke, what starts off as a thin wisp of smoke soon becomes overwhelming, finding it hard to see and also finding it hard to breathe. If he tries to back up, he finds that his feet keep getting bunched up against something as if he can't go back any further. Seems as if forward is the only way through. So he grits his teeth and he pulls himself forward, inch by inch by inch.
Thank you, Leland, by the way. Just saw that
He
you
starts to
reset.
feel the ground give way, and suddenly he's in free fall. Makes absolutely no sense. There was no rift in the ground, there was no rupture, but yet here he is free falling, somehow already underground, free falling, free falling. And the sensation makes him feel nauseous as suddenly it seems as if the entire world just flips. And instead of falling down, it feels like he's rising up and ascending. And it goes faster and faster and faster until he suddenly comes to a slow and feels himself rising up through smoke and ashes and into this scene. Let's pull Calder up. He floats to the middle of the pool of smoke and is ejected right in front of the demonic horned skull. Jacob, as you watch this happen, the two men behind you begin running. And they run out of the cave. What you see before you is a human man, dressed in looks like olive green pants, no shoes, no shirt, grips a flashlight in one hand that the lens is cracked on and doesn't seem to work anymore. Um, your gun is gone. You got anything else on you, Frankie?
If the gun is gone, do I still have my machete at least?
Yeah, he has a machete and he's got a broken flashlight with him.
Not realizing where my gun went or where I am, I quickly go down to my knife and I pull out that machete and I'm looking around and I don't look
You see a scene that
Vietnamese, but yeah,
must be
this is
impossible.
weird.
and you see a man standing to your left. He's because you're facing the portal. He's standing to your left. He seems to be dressed in almost like a Western outfit. The way people don't really typically dress anymore. It looks like he's like a frontier person or something, maybe.
Calder gets to his feet and he is just looking around, dumbfounded, and his eyes kind of start to go narrow as he looks at Jacob, and he starts moving towards him, and he points his machete at Jacob as he's approaching, because you don't look Vietnamese, but he's, who the fuck are you? You one of them fucking spooks or something? Where the fuck are we?
Who the fuck are you, partner? And he pats his gun. He says, I got one of these. I put that thing away. You even
You any good with it? Because from what I saw, whoever you were fucking after got away.
I asked you a question. Are you a fucking demon? Or are you a man?
Fucking demon, man, where the fuck are we? This is
You get the sense
this is
too, Calder, that when he asked, "Are you a demon or a man?" it's not even like a joking way or like an exaggeration. He's dead serious that you could be a demon. And Jacob, I mean, obviously you think he's a demon. Demons exist.
Yeah. And he came out of some weird ass shit.
Yes.
I'm fucking specialist Calder Ashbourne with the 3rd Infantry Division. We were on fucking patrol, and I killed a guy in a hole. It's actually kind of it's getting fuzzy the harder I try to think about. What is this place, man? It's fucking with me. We didn't know the Kong had anything like this underground. This is just.
Well, I don't know what any of them
All
words
these,
mean.
yeah, he's talking about infantry divisions, Kong, and you're just like, what the fuck? The only time you had ever heard words like that before, especially the word infantry, was when somebody was talking about um essentially an airplane. I don't remember what these were called in Midworld. They might even just be called airplanes, but at some point somebody came across an airplane somewhere and said it belonged to a military, and they also used the word infantrymen. So those are words that you've heard before, but you're really quite unfamiliar with. Your best guess is that a military is some sort of group of maybe lawkeepers or soldiers, something. Infantrymen, you're guessing the people that are equipped to fly that machine.
My partner, are you an infantry? I know that word.
Yeah. Specialist Calder Ashbourne, 3rd Infantry Division. And we are. Did I die? Am I in hell? Is this hell?
Maybe. Some people would say so.
You are awful evasive, mister. Like, if this is some kind of joke, I don't have time for it. We've got to get back to the fob and report this fucking place, man. So
I'm not trying to be.
what's your outfit, man? CIA, FBI. What are you?
What does that mean?
Oh, great. You're
I'm
one of those
Jacob Kruze.
fucking mercs, right? One of the guys they fucking pay that's off the books. You don't exist. Is that what you're about to tell me?
I got paid to come here, yeah. And I seen some weird shit, and then you come out of the fog.
let's
You want to come back
let's
with me
start
and
here.
talk to
So
Smoke?
Calder, you are
Jacob Kruze.
all right,
You can call
Mr.
me Jacob.
Cruz. Ah, very nice to meet you. And we are where would you say?
Not quite sure what this place is called.
You're in the Gray Peak Mountains. The Great Peak Mountains
Nothing
are
south of there.
south of the parishes that you are from, which is kind of where you guys are at right now. You're at the edge of those parishes, but that's where Jacob is from the parishes. And that's a ways north of where he is right now.
And it would seem that me
Calder
and
wouldn't.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
Yeah, how familiar is Calder with Louisiana? Because I think that's the only place in the United States where they have parishes. Everything else is a county.
Right.
He might, if he knows world history, he might know what like baronies are and shit like that. But he's getting the impression that that's what Jacob is trying to describe to him, that this region that he's from.
I just I'm fucking
Can I have
confused.
each of you please make a heart saving throw?
We just made it 13.
Okay,
I believe an 11 is a pass. Let me pull up my character sheet real quick. Yep.
great. So both of you actually see this vision. Let me go ahead. I have to change the scene for a moment. All right, can you guys see what's on the screen? Or is it a
Yeah,
black screen
it's
for
kind of
you?
looks like a fish of some sort.
Perfect. Perfect. As you both are talking, you start to get this image of this stone carving of a fish in your mind. And you stop seeing the world around you, everything kind of fades away, and all you can see is this fish, like a smoky mist behind it. You can hear the crashing of waves, and you hear very clearly the fish begin to speak to you. It doesn't move its lips or anything like that, but it says, "You are in the presence of Naldich, the great and powerful god of the seas. You have come to find me. When you find me, you know that you are on your path. The two of you must work together, and there is a third you will find along the way. You will be known as the Order of the Fist, and you will come to defeat me, or you will end your life at the clearing at the end of the path." And then it all fades away, and you're just kind of back in this cave, staring at each other a bit dumbfounded. Um, Frankie, your character has never heard of Naldeech
Yeah.
before. Jacob, can I please get from you another heart save?
17.
What is your heart? Is it
That's a fail.
17? Okay, it's a fail for you.
It's
Okay.
14.
So Naldeech, you feel like you've heard the name here and there before, but you don't really know a lot about this Naldeech. You have heard of a god of the seas and things like that, but I mean, fish. You know what I mean? It seems kind of silly. And this is definitely speaking back to gods. So in Midworld, there are many, many different types of beliefs, this and that, but there are believed to be gods of the realm. The gods of the realm are considered to be powerful and necessary to sustain life. But aside from that, there's not a ton that Jacob knows about the gods of the realm. But this god is telling you that it is your duty to seek another and then to come defeat the god.
So Calder,
What was that? That's. Am I asleep? Did they tank the cigarettes or the water? Just one.
so you see the two? No each.
Now what now?
You see no each. You see him, right?
Mayhap I
Spoke
did,
to you in your
but that
did
don't
you or
mean
didn't you?
nothing to me, and I'm awful lost. Seems I've lost my peace. Don't reckon you've got another sidearm, do you? Long rifle, something.
You do not. Jacob does not. He has only the pistol. Although Calder, now getting a closer look at
Kind
this
of rare.
pistol that he's holding, it it's impressive. It looks bigger than any pistol you've ever seen. It's one of those things where you're looking at this guy and you're looking at the gun he has and you're thinking, how does this frail motherfucker even hold that thing up?
Mm. I guess not on the having another weapon, but I guess if you're carrying around, are you Dirty Harry or something? I don't know. Let's can we get the fuck out of here? This place gives me the creeps.
Absolutely. We'll go see Smoke. Smoke might be able to
And we walk out, and I am
help
fucking
tomorrow.
freezing.
Yep, you guys walk
He is
out,
just
you navigate your way through, and you come out into a wintry landscape out of this glowing maw. It is apparent that Calder is not equipped for this type of weather, so you'll need to move quickly or find him some type of clothing or something.
What the
I should have killed that other dude.
fuck?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
kind of whispered tight and grinned smugly at Calder, and I'm like, well, we got to move fast, boy, or freeze.
Boy.
He's quite a bit older
Calder, as you leave this
Boy.
gate, or sorry, as you leave this cave, you see a demonic looking maw glowing behind you. It's eerie, to say the least. You guys continue to where are the columns? Here they are. You guys continue and make it back to these columns, and let me delete the enemies because they're not here. As you're walking through, Calder, you're getting colder and colder. Can you please roll me a strength saving throw?
Yes, I can. Oh, that's a fucking major success there, Captain. That's a 2.
Calder finds the will to keep moving on. The cold is numbing his feet all the way up to his ankles, and he feels like the tip of his nose could just fall off. He cannot believe that he entered a tunnel in the rainforest of Vietnam and has emerged in some type of Arctic or tundra setting, apparently in the mountains. And as you guys come down from the mountains into lower and lower elevation, the temperature improves for Calder, and eventually you guys make it back to um the job giver, Smoke, who talks with Jacob and says, "Well, who's your friend here, and what did you see?"
Well, Smoke, you ain't gonna fucking believe this. But I followed him to this cave, and the motherfucker started chanting some words. I went in. There was these 3 weirdos with him. I got a good slash on one with my knife, and the fucker ran away from me. The other 2, when I moved up, they grabbed me, but I shook them off real good, and they ran away. And then he finished saying some words after he taunted me a little bit. He knew who I was, which was surprising, but he stabbed himself right under the neck, and he jumped in this miasma of fog and smoke, and these lightning bursts started flaring up, and next thing I know, this some bitch come out talking about infantry. Do you know what an infantry is? He's an infantry. It's
Smoke
third infantry.
nods his head. He nods his head as if he has the degree of understanding that Jacob is lacking at the moment. He reaches the hand towards Calder to shake.
Calder
Does
looks
Calder
back and
shake Smoke's
forth at
hand?
this whole scene. Like, what's this room look like?
You're in a building. You're just in kind of like a like Western saloon type building. You're just back in the parishes, in a regular town, but it's mid-world. So to you, this isn't the modern technology of like the early 70s that you're used to, or late 60s, I should say. This is more like the early 1900s, if we're being honest.
Right. It's
Like just looking around, you don't see electricity everywhere. You don't see vehicles everywhere. You see like horse and buggy type shit. Even the dress
yeah.
of the people, it looks like a large majority of these people make their own clothing that they get from hunting animals and things like that. There's very few people that have clothes that are dyed colors and things like that. And those that do, you get the idea that they are either well off or some type of artist merchant or something. Like they must make these clothings to have them. But
Yeah.
hues of blue and red and green are rare. Mostly what you're seeing is a lot of brown, tan, white. A lot of people are wearing hides and the skins of animals.
Calder reaches out and just shakes the hand quickly. Smoke?
You, you notice when this guy shakes your hand, he doesn't grab your hand, he grabs your forearm and shakes it.
Met a few people like that in my
Calder
life,
would
so I don't
probably
think.
know this is a very old, antiquated way of
Yeah.
shaking hands.
Calder reaches into his pocket and he pulls out what's like a quarter of a pack of like Lucky Strikes that's left in his pocket. He doesn't realize how rare a pristine cigarette is. And he pulls one out and puts it in his mouth. You got a light. Your name's fucking Smoke, right?
You see the guy's eyes like light up and go wide when he sees the cigarette. And he even asked, "Is that a real smoke?"
Yeah, I mean, it's not really my brand, but it's what comes in the rations.
He says, "Can I see your pack?"
He holds it up and he's like, I've got 2 left. Mister, do you want
He
one?
sees that it says Lucky Strike. He goes, "Ah, the ones I always used to get were called Surefires." He goes, "Mister, I know you said you just got 2 left, but I'd be awful appreciative of you if you give me one of them." Pulls
Yeah.
out a Zippo, flicks it, and he lights your cigarette. Takes the one that you offer him, lights it as well.
I look at Jacob and I hold the last one out of the tip of the pack because, again, I don't realize this is a rarity here. You need one too, boy?
Jay kind of, you see his eyes go wide. He's like, just wham. He snatches it quick. He's like, wow, thank you.
Smoke lights it too, and he warns Jacob. He said, "If you've never had a real one before, get ready." And like, yeah, if he's ever had smoke in Midworld, it's tobacco, whatever, this or that. This is an American cigarette with all the nicotine and all that other shit that they put in it. So you can imagine he probably gets a crazy rush off the first drag. Like, holy shit!
You see Jacob
And
pull out a chair and sit down. And he kind of
the
leans
other
back.
thing that's nice about them is they're fresh. And Smoke notes that he goes, "Man, usually when I get a real one, it's gone in 2 puffs. They're so damn dry." This one's fresh. Oh man, he actually just sits down and enjoys the damn cigarette for a minute. Just completely stops the conversation. Is like taking a break basically. But when he finishes it, he smokes it all the way down to the nub and licks it. And he says, "So, Calder, I know you got a lot of questions and you're wondering why you're here. Jacob, I know you think that I couldn't believe what you just told me, but the thing is, I do. I need you to come with me real quick." And he leads you guys to the other side of the saloon. Goes into what seems to be some type of locker, unlocks it. He pulls out a long rifle with whatever inlay you have on it, Frankie. He hands it over to Calder. He says, "I believe this belongs to you," and hands over a stack full of lead to go with it. He goes, "You don't know me, and I don't know you, but I was told on good authority that I'm supposed to send Jacob to meet you and hand you all this stuff, send you on your way. You know what way you gotta go, don't you?"
We gotta go find
This,
each smoke.
I gotta go and
Smiles and he
find a
says,
nothing, my friend, but my way home.
he smiles at Jacob and says, "That's right." And then when Calder says that, he goes, "Oh, home.
Yeah, home.
This is your home now, buddy."
Oh, well, this is a mighty fine rifle, and I thank you so much for the gift. But uh I don't know that I'll be na beach, na siege, na nothing. I
Oh,
gotta
by the
get
way, too,
home.
when you got here, he hooked you up with some clothes too, so you're
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
standing there in,
absolutely.
just your fatigue shorts and that's it. But he looks you over and he says, "You better get used to the clothes you're wearing and the air you're smelling, people you're seeing, and the things you're doing, because that world you came from, you ain't never going back."
Damn.
Imagine Calder's head is probably swimming a little bit, like what the
Yeah.
hell is he talking about, right? But Jacob, this isn't completely unheard of for you. You've known of people called drifters before that have been rumored to be from different worlds and different places, and you have evidence of this, not only from, people have talked about that plane, you've seen coins from places that you've never seen before, then all kinds of different things. So it's a common belief in Midworld that there's people known as drifters that have gone to and from. But yeah, with that, Smoke offers to buy you guys a drink at the saloon, and he says, "Any questions you got, I'll try to answer, but I don't got all the answers."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a great day. And you notice that Jacob smokes about 2/3 of his cigarette, and he carefully snuffs the end out, and he puts it in his pocket, and like saves it.
Hell yeah, like a true Midworlder.
And I don't know what Calder did with his, but if he threw the butt down or butted it out, he'd pick that up too.
Yeah, you'd have to, because he probably would have just dropped it and put it out with his boot.
Yeah.
And you see Jacob trying to straighten out the cigarette and keep as much of the tobacco in it as he can, and you're thinking, man, this guy's desperate.
Something tells me I'm not going to be able to get another pack of those, am I?
Oh, we have tobacco, sir. You just ain't gonna find none of that. None of that good stuff.
You notice, Calder, as you look around the saloon and see other people smoking, they're smoking these pretty low quality hand rolled cigarettes. The smoke in the air doesn't smell very good.
Right,
Doesn't
right.
have that nice cigarette smell to it.
So, where exactly am I? When, or maybe when am I? Or how? Yeah, what? I don't understand this at all. Are we like back in the States or?
I see the funny thing over here. When you are, where you are, how you are. A lot of time just takes place in the present here, partner. You're not in the States no more. Where you are, it's a place called Midworld. These are the parishes. And here, mm, life's probably a bit like the past where you're from. Maybe you're used to seeing, as he notices you have a flashlight, he goes, maybe you're used to seeing light bulbs and moving pictures and things like that. We don't get a lot of that around here. Things are a bit more earthy, a bit more real. One thing I will say though, Calder, death here is permanent. What happened to you on the other side? That happens here, it's gone for good.
Are you trying
And
to
as
say
Calder
I
thinks
didn't
about it, he doesn't
die?
know what happened. Yeah, right. Calder has no idea what happened, and say you didn't die, and Smoke goes, yeah, sure you didn't.
Well,
That man that jumped in that chasm sure was dead. And I believe everything's in exchange.
He laughs, and he says, oh, that guy. That I think that was a parlor trick. Call that guy the walking dude,
I think the
and
blood.
hey, I'm not saying you didn't see it. All I'm saying is, don't be surprised you ever see that man again.
the walking dude.
That's what they call him.
Yep, I've gone to hell. Might as well get used to it. Suppose I probably deserve this. He takes a
The
drink of the swill in front of him.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The drink that he bought you, that barmaid hands down to you, is just awful. When you look at it, you think it's porter, but then as you drink it, you're like, I don't quite know what it is. It's gritty. There might even be dirt in it. Odor oil? Who knows?
It's like
Right.
screwed up.
One thing that is certain about it
I
is
ain't
it's
feeling
fucking
it.
strong. Half the glass in, and Calder feels like he's had a six pack already.
Fuck. Yeah. I enjoyed that. That was a good session, guys, but I have to hop off, unfortunately.
It's no problem. That's about the end of it anyway, so we will pick up next session with you guys back to finding the path of the beam. Thanks everybody for joining us today.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now I know how I met you, Jacob.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That was crazy.